First of all, this race is very winnable because you have this piece of South Florida County. If you look at the trend, and I've been looking at the trend since 1994 when Joe Gomez first ran. Burmaster cracked that 30% mark, which was critical for that race. And, you know, the city of Albany and Albany County is where all the good Republicans go to die. But now you got now you have Saratoga County and with Ted Dance, you know, an 8-point swing, which actually this will actually provide, can actually put you over. So this is very, very winnable. I don't want anybody to think that this is not winnable. This is very, very winnable. One question I have for you about energy policy. I was thinking about oil because I have nothing better to do but to think about oil. And we still extract a significant amount of petroleum from countries that are not necessarily friendly to the United States. So this is the relationship. They give us oil, we buy oil from them, and then we fund their covert support of terrorist organizations that come back and attack us in some way. And so to put into perspective, how much of the dollar that you pump, of gasoline that you pump into your car, comes back to America in the form of a terrorist attack or an attack on our own troops. And I wanted to get your feedback or your ideas on how to become more energy independent, or at least start buying oil from countries that are friendlier to the United States, more so like a hemispheric oil policy and get away from the Middle East.
Yeah, we certainly have the reserves.
Or our own, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an energy expert, but I've looked into all these things quite a bit, and I've spoken with energy experts, and it sounds like we have a lot of reserves. We have the capabilities. I think the Keystone XL pipeline was a perfect opportunity. It still could be a perfect opportunity to bring in a more friendly neighbor as opposed to those unfriendly people. The green energy stuff, I wish it was good. I wish we could use it. I don't see that actually picking up enough to really make an impact. I don't know that subsidizing that stuff is the best use of money. I think there's companies out there like, say, GE, that are very capable. If they're not stupid. They understand if the technology, or how much money it'll take to develop the technology. If it's workable, they're going to put their money in it, and they're going to make a profit, and fine, that's what America's all about. I don't know why we have to put our money in when they say, no, basically with their money, they're saying, no, that's probably not going to work, it's not feasible. Well, we throw money at it just because it sounds good when we talk about food jobs. So I don't see that as the answer, although I wish it was, and I hope to see that increase as a percentage of what we use. But I don't think that's the answer either.
David. He hasn't had a chance yet. You'll get another chance. You'll get another chance. Go ahead, David.
Okay. We've heard what you want to do after you get down to Washington. There's one big stumbling block, and that's how are you going to pay for it? This is a very expensive campaign. You're running against an incumbent, such as he is, but you're still running against an incumbent. Do you have a kitty? Do you have a financial plan set up to get that?
Yeah,
it's not just what somebody's going to give. Right. It's your personal time, personal effort, personal money.
Yeah, no question. I think to me the time commitment is the biggest one. I've really spent a lot of time with my family talking about it, and they're behind it. Well, my daughter gave me a little trouble last night about it, but overall they're behind it. As far as dollars, we put together a budget. I think it's going to be $1 million campaign. We've got about 25,000 right now, but I think we're going to have 50 by the end of the month, which is the first reporting period. Not knocking anybody's socks off, which I think is good. In fact, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be serious enough threat, but not kick the hornet's nest of my opponent, where he's got 400,000. Let him take us. We'll fly a little under the radar. They won't see our numbers again until the end of June, actually into July. So at that point, we'll have a good upswing. I'm enrolling in the Young Guns program. I spoke with the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee. They gave Congressman Gibson over $1.1 million between the NRCC and the Young Guns program. To me, I'm looking at those guys more as the cavalry. I'm saying it's $1 million race. I know my opponent is so entrenched that if this is a race, if we're at 50-50, the Democratic National Committee is gonna say, all right, Tonko, here's your $1 million, go get rid of Dieterich. And that's why I spent so much time working with these guys down in DC and some of the guys in New York City, so that they'll say, all right, Dieterich, here's your $1 million, go make it a race again and get Tonko out of there. So that's kind of how I'm looking at those guys. That's my plan B. And actually I say $1 million, but I have about $850,000 fundraising plan.
Can I just add one thing to that, because that's very important about availability. Ted Dan, right, spent a tenth of what Tonko ended up raising, and DNC gave Tonko money. Okay, I mean he broke 40%. So what I'm saying is, this is such a winnable race. I mean it is unbelievable, and if the fundraising effort go as planned, even if it just goes halfway, it will be an incredible race, and this is absolutely completely winnable. So,
My opponent spent
I just
$45,000.
want to make sure that you put it's going to cost you to get from point A to point B.
Yes.
I work on Sweeney's, Treadwell, Disco, and Gibson's, and it's just going up and up and up and up.
And you know what, I've spoke with pretty much every single one of those guys, and Ted Dance, and Joe Gomez, and Jim Burmaster. And so I've basically just been gathering ideas from everybody, and I take the best and make sure I don't do the things that hurt them.
I did, yes. I was going to delve into social issues.
Sure.
Your thoughts on abortion and same-sex marriage.
Which one first?
Right.
These are
I know they're
not the
tricky.
most comfortable issues
Yeah.
for a CFO to discuss.
Right.
But I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, a lot of time, and it's unbelievably difficult thing to come to grips with. All my life, I've thought a certain way, and now that I'm actually considering meeting people and affecting their lives, I have to consider it. So, my personal views have always been pro-life, and I think my public policy views are different than that. I think there's some room for some decisions on the personal level. My whole campaign is about government backing out of our lives. It saddens me to think of that, but at the same time, I've spoken with people in the district, or in what I thought was the district, and some of them have made decisions that I go home and thank God I haven't had to make, but they have, and I would not judge them for that. I think there are definite restrictions. I think as far as funding, there's absolutely no room for government funding, especially if you're going to give someone the choice to make that choice. You're going to give someone the choice whether to pay for it or not. And anybody who doesn't feel comfortable with that should not have to fund someone who does. That's absolute. And then the other thing, late term abortion, absolutely not. It's disgusting. I can't imagine. And the whole thing's sad to me, but that's what I've come to grips with and kind of developed over the past couple of months. Is that's the only way to do it. And
So
I
you
know
bring your-
nobody's probably going to like either side, but hopefully in the middle, most people will say, all right, you know, we can agree with that.
So are you saying that your pro-life views would translate into your public policy, or you wouldn't? I'm a little confused.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying,
just-
I guess, to put it in the terms that are normally used, I would probably fall on what people would refer to as pro-choice. But I'm not necessarily comfortable saying that because that's not my personal views. It's my views on how the government should deal with it. So I'm not.
So you're saying that a woman should have the right to choose, but just not late-term abortion?
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you for
Okay,
clarifying
sure.
my position for me.
Don't make us pay for it.
Yeah, but you
Exactly.
wouldn't, support federal funding of abortion?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, so, okay. So you wouldn't overturn Roe versus Wade, but other than that, you would have the government have nothing to do with it?
Right. In
Okay.
fact, I'll never have the opportunity
Well,
to
that's
overturn
it,
anything.
exactly.
It's just,
The emphasis I'm talking about post-live birth abortions. Okay, we're talking about a slippery slope. Okay? It's murder. I agree, but that's the term. So we're talking about a very slippery slope. And there has to be a stop. There has to be a place that you cannot go. You know what, you made your decision, live with it.
Yeah.
Okay? There are plenty of parents out there that want children. They can't adopt. Why not? Because there aren't enough babies. Why not? Because we have too much abortion. What kind of nonsense is that? To be able to give a child a good home with people who want them? Does that make sense for a
I
society?
think anybody who has kids, I can't imagine, you know, that making that decision to do that. You see your kids, imagine if you didn't have it. If you never gave your kids that you did. But again, that's,
It's not personal.
yeah.
It's no longer personal because it's interrupting the production of this country. Just think, if we had all of those children back that have been aborted, how would the taxes be then? Okay, we're getting rid of tax cuts. Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't to me.
Right.
I think Mary.
And then just the gay
Gay
marriage.
Gay marriage clarification.
Okay, I believe marriage is between a man and woman. But I do have to say, I would support a gay or lesbian couple having all the rights that everybody else on earth has.
Civil unions, yeah, exactly.
Whatever you call it, I think if you call it a marriage, it changes the definition for people who have that. So I wouldn't call it that, but again, I don't want to hurt anyone. If you want to live your life the way you want to live it, that's fine with me, and you deserve all
Maybe
the
the
rights.
government should get out of the marriage
That
business
Americans should
altogether.
have.
Yeah. So would you support a constitutional amendment to define marriages between a man and a woman, or?
Yep.
Dawn, did you want to follow with something different other than the abortion thing, or was that part of your question? Okay, Shelley?
I just have a question, even though you're not gonna be in my district, unfortunately.
Shelley's
Some
way up
stress-
north.
some stress. But what is your stance on the federal government intervening on Catholic religion and dictating what they should and should not do? With healthcare, because I'm Catholic, I'm proud to be Catholic, my children are raised Catholic.
I grew up Catholic. When I got married, my wife was Methodist, so she said, "You better be a Methodist." I said, "Okay." But I still associate with the Catholic Church, and if my family isn't going, if one of the kids are sick, I still go to the Catholic Church. But otherwise, I'm going to the Methodist Church. But I think the government should stay out. The overarching theme of what I represent is the government stay out. If people want to use contraception, let them use it. That doesn't mean you have to pay for it. And that's really what it boils down to.
And the same thing with the gay marriage, the churches should not have to fight to be able to recognize if they chose not to recognize marriage between, the same sex. And they're constantly
And to get a little
ridiculed.
deeper, I think the word marriage, to me, is a sacrament, and
Exactly.
I almost think it should be separate, that the government shouldn't even use the word marriage. You have a marriage in the church, and then a union that, if you're at the Justice of the Peace or whatever it is, same thing according to taxes or anything else, but it's not religious, and marriage is. So, and if you get too deep into that, people start marrying you with all this, it never dies. So, try to simplify it the best you can, but I think marriage is a sacrament, and that's what it is.
Just a real quick question, what county are you actually in?
Schenectady.
What are you doing down there to get rid of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and get out of the mortgage business?
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they were the root of this whole collapse. And for years, I work in a bank, and I'm on the committee that approves all these loans. Every day, I would go in and I'd review every loan that comes through our bank. And for a long time, loans would come in, it would say $250,000, and I would look at it and say, there's no way this person can afford $250,000 mortgage. And we would tell them that. And they would go down the street and say, guess what, they'd give me $250,000 mortgage. And I think the whole committee, for years, we would say, this is insane. This is unbelievable, these people can't afford it. And then their home prices would go up, and they'd refinance it, and they'd get more money. And then when the home prices came down, it was a house of cards. And those people, when they're going through foreclosure, and they're losing their family, and they're having, it's just a terrible, terrible thing because of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And I think it's terrible, and I think the government should not own them. I don't know how much choice they really had, but we do own it now, it's ours. we're still pouring money into it, and there's